Have you heard terms like wrist cock, downcock, compression of the golf ball, lag in your golf swing, and ever wondered, is that for me? What does that really mean? How do I achieve it? Then stay tuned to find out more. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video is all going to be about the wrists in your downswing mainly, but those terms I mentioned at the start, I'm going to explaining how they are relevant, what they mean to you, and how you can best use your wrists in your golf swing to get a better strike and more speed. So I'm going to be focusing here with a mid-iron, but this would really be relevant with any golf club. So let's talk a little bit about the wrists in the golf swing without being technical. What we really want to achieve is we want maximum speed at impact. So we have to let our angle go in our wrists at some point. We call lag, I'm going to jump straight onto that figure, that term there. We call lag the angle here, maintained between the lead arm and the club shaft on the downswing. But I do not want to maintain. I'd never get the golf club to the ball. So we have to let that angle go at some point. At what point we lose that angle is very important, because that is going to help us generate maximum compression. So that's another term I mentioned at the start. Compression is really just almost the thought of that club squeezing the ball between the turf here and the club face. So we're actually getting a slightly downward angle of attack with our irons. However, we can still create compression with a driver when we're hitting up on the ball. So it's not always a downward move, but it's effectively squeezing that ball that little bit further out, generating the maximum from our golf swing. So we want lag in our golf swing, absolutely. At what point do we create that lag? Well, it should be gradually happening in the backswing, i.e. the wrist cocking. So the wrists can do two things. They can cock up and cock down, like a gun loading and unloading, and they can hinge right and hinge left. Now there is some hinging, of course there is, but I tend to see excessive wrist action hinging in the backswing when we lose control of the club face. So what I'm more focusing on here is the wrist cock. We want that to be relatively gradual in our backswing, and with the right grip and the right grip pressure, that will start to definitely happen. So we do not want to be squeezing the golf club. If you are very tight on your grip, you will struggle to get the right wrist angles in your golf swing and maximize your power. So making sure you are staying nice and loose. I always get people to grip as tight as they can. Imagine that's 10 on a scale, as loose as they can, being a 1. We want to grip it somewhere in the middle there. If we're going to be either way, maybe a 4 rather than a 6, so slightly on the lighter side. We want our wrist cock to happen gradually in the backswing. If possible, we're trying to increase that angle on the downswing. That does not mean I pull the handle down. That means I just get the feeling the club is actually dropping a little bit more behind me and I'm maintaining the angle. Now we have to let that angle go at some point. So we want to reach maximum extension of our arms and our club shaft just post impact. So if I bring that back a frame or two to impact, what would that look like is a pretty flat lead wrist, almost my lead arm and club shaft one straight long line with a mid iron this is, and my trail elbow will be slightly bent here. So this wrist will be more at this angle, okay? So it's almost feeling like I'm pronating this wrist, almost getting my palm facing a little bit more down towards the ground here that I'm looking to try and achieve. So we're looking for this sort of wrist position at impact and a very straight release where arms are extended post impact. We want to make sure we get the club reaching maximum velocity at impact. So we're trying to create a gradual wrist cock in the backswing. We're trying to keep our wrist cock by staying very light with our grip pressure, allowing the club weight to feel like it drops a little bit more behind me, and then I can keep or even increase that angle in my lead wrist. But we've really got to make sure we let that speed go into impact, okay? We do not want to keep it on and on and on and on here. So we've got to try and allow that club to reach maximum acceleration near impact. How do we achieve that? How do we lose that angle? We call it downcocking the wrist because it happens in the downswing. If we let that wrist angle go early, we've got nothing back to the ball. My lead arm and club are very straight, and the club's only going to be traveling the same speed as my hands. So it's important that to about halfway down, we've maintained as much angle as we can. And then what we're trying to get from there is the feeling with very soft, light arms that we get that club reaching maximum acceleration. So we're actually letting that wrist angle go gradually into the ball. And it is teamed up with my body starting to rotate and move out the way. So you'll actually notice my lead side is rotating and extending. If I do not let that rotate and extend, I'm just going to plow that club into the ground there. So we've got to keep that angle or create more down cock if we can with our wrists, but we let that angle go by allowing our body to rotate and extend. That's what we really want to get that feeling of, to get maximum speed at impact. So I'll say that again. What we're looking for in the backswing is a gradual wrist cock. Okay, so remember the cocking movement is this one. We want a gradual wrist cock in the backswing with the right grip pressure. That will start to happen. We want soft arms at the top. We do not want to pull the club down. We want to feel that the weight of the club actually drops a little bit more to help me maintain or even increase the amount of down cock in my wrists here, or wrist cock in my wrists here, to allow me to lose that angle or down cock my wrists into impact that I really want to feel. So it's trying to soft arms to keep that wrist cock. From here, the down cocking happens into impact to get that club reaching maximum speed with my body rotating and extending. And a great way to feel that is just by putting your trail hand, so for right-handed golfers, that's your right hand, just between your thumb and fingertip, holding about halfway down the club shaft. So get to the top, keep that angle in the lead wrist, and what you want to feel from there is that you throw that club away while your body is actually rotating and extending. And you can see what I'm actually now achieving is just post-impact, this very straight lead arm and club shaft that we really want to try and get. So I've kept that angle, and I throw that angle away to create maximum speed at impact while my body is rotating and extending. Okay, so my left side, my lead side here, is clearing out the way. That's what I really want to feel. It's a massive power source if we can get that right. So let's try that. Let's try that as just a golf swing move first of all. So if I can get to the top of the backswing, nice soft grip pressure, gradually increase wrist cock in the backswing, increase wrist angle in the downswing, so I'm holding that angle. I'm going to do it as a small pump movement, and I'm just going to get the feeling of throwing that club away, so creating maximum speed at impact as my body rotates. So we're not going to be hitting this very far. Let's give that a go. Nice soft wrists, keep the angle. So I really felt like I got that club thrown away here as my body starts to rotate, and that's the sensation I really want to get. As I said, that exercise just with the trail hand on the club shaft is a fantastic one, just to get that sensation, that feeling that we keep the angle, and then we're actually throwing that club away into the ball. If we just throw it away with no body rotation, we're going to hit the ground before the ball. Our body has got to be responding by rotating and extending. Okay, so I've talked in other videos about this lead shoulder clearing up and left, and that's a really key point, so I'll put a link to it just up here. Make sure you check that video out. It's got some real relevance to what we're talking about today as well. Let me go ahead and see if I can put that into a full swing. So again, just with a mid-iron, this is relevant however with anything. So what you'll have seen from the face-on view there is I'm able to slow and shorten the club by around here somewhere. So I'm not carrying on excessive speed with the club bouncing off my back and finishing down here. That means I'm actually generating maximum speed nearer the golf ball, and that's a really key part. We don't want to take all this speed all the way into our follow-through. We want to get rid of it at the golf ball, so the club head is reaching maximum velocity nearer the golf ball. I hope that's cleared up some of those wrist terms. Remember, this is cocking, this is a hinging movement. We want our wrist cock to happen gradually in the backswing. We want to maintain that by increasing our lag if we could on the downswing. That is good light grip pressure and allowing the club to fall, not being pulled down. We've got to get rid of that wrist angle. That's the downcocking part. But that happens as our body starts to rotate and extend, that we can reach maximum velocity at impact. Okay, if we get all that right, we're really going to start to improve your iron strike, but also this is relevant and we can take this one into any golf club in the bag, including the driver. If you did enjoy the content and it has helped, please do hit the like button. Post some comments below how you got on with it, any videos you'd like to see me film, and make sure you subscribe as well to the TruGolf Academy. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.